That is such a cool shot. Hey, everybody, I've missed you so much. Ronald Nesty here, Rock and Roll Heaven, right outside of Chicago in St. Charles, Illinois, at the Arcada Theater and the Des Plaines Theater as well. Hope you guys had a great holiday weekend, and welcome to, this is our 74th episode. It says something of our second season, our 20th, whatever it is. We are rocking and rolling still every Thursday here on Hangin' and Bangin'. Let me bring to the microphone my co-hosts, of course, my brothers, who I've missed tremendously. We got a great show tonight. Let's first bring on the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, wait, no, that's Carmine. Let's bring on Vinny. What's up?
What the fuck? What was that?
You know what? I miss you, Vinny. I swear to God, I miss you so much. Honest to God. I really do. I really do.
I know.
Now you're a big shot on the road. You're always gone. Once in a while, you stick your toe in our little show here and make an appearance, and it's such a big deal. You're as big of a deal as any other guest that we have now.
Well, you know, my new movie's coming out, and then I got my series on Netflix
I
later
know,
in
and
the
this
summer.
whole Jordan thing you're getting into is really cool.
Actually, we got the song coming out in the new Thor movie. It looks like Rainbow
Really?
in the Dark. Dio, yeah, that.
Oh, the Dio, absolutely.
Yeah, Rainbow in the Dark. That's cool. So I
let's
wrote
bring
him back.
our,
I said,
our big brother.
he loves it.
On.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
what
let's do
holiday
that.
weekend was this?
I don't even know.
You said
It's been so long.
From holiday weekend.
But it worked because
It was a weekend
we
before.
But we were off last week, so we didn't get to say that. All right. Clarification. Let's bring again the man, the myth, the legend, our big brother, Carmine Peace. Come on, Carm. How you doing there, Mr. Drug Cartel?
Peace.
Hey, what's up, dude? What's up? Good to be back here in the studio here in
Back
Florida.
in the room.
Yeah, back in the room. I'm about to do
Back
some
on
work
lockdown,
later.
practically.
Yeah.
It's almost back on lockdown. It's freaking happening.
Yeah. I mean, this artist on lockdown never goes away. It's just freaking crazy, you know.
Well, neither does the COVID apparently either.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of shows cancel again. We're going down that road. A lot of people are hanging in there, though. I got to tell you. But Richard Marks today called. They said, let's just move it to October. Jim Belushi moved his comedy show. A few others. They're just I don't know, being scared about it. This whole thing is going to be like an abortion issue. You're really, believe in it, or you really don't. There's those people fighting over it now. It's crazy.
We're playing in Key West on Sunday.
Well, down there is good. I mean, Florida is.
Florida's great. Everybody's got it in Florida.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, so many people have it. I
It's
talked
like
to our buddy
Ian
today. I talked to our buddy Ian Pace today. He's going to be in Florida for 10 days, and then they're doing a cruise. I'm going to get together. He's got some sort of show going. So does Nico. Nico's got some sort of show too. Yeah. So they're all doing these kind of shows now. Everybody.
Yeah, you have to. You know what? I want to take a second here and just say hello to some of the people that have been following us all the time. You got Rafa, Connie, Heidi. Who else out there? Nancy,
AC,
Linda, Casey, of course. Tammy's always on. Just want to say hi to you guys. Johnny, Bill Augustin, thanks so much for being with us every week. And, hey, Kevin, how you doing, man? Thanks for supporting us here on Hangin' and Bangin'.
Yeah.
We got a great show tonight, guys. We're coming back freaking swinging. We took a couple of weeks off because of the holidays, and hope you guys had great holidays. But now we're coming back, like I said, swinging with a couple great guys. First of all, we're going to come back with swinging. We got Uncle Ted that's going to be with us in just a second, but I want to bring to the microphone, from Saigon Kick, Skid Row. I mean, Brunello's got, there's so many bands, this guy. I want to talk about his new Panic Boom single that just came out. Phil Varone, bring him on the microphone here, our good buddy.
Hey,
Phil.
Somebody call my name.
Yeah, there he is.
That's you, brother.
Doing, bro?
How are you guys? Good to be
You're
here.
looking good, man.
Thank you. As I've been in the house for 2 years, working out,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
I know, yeah. No, the same thing.
Feeling good.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the live. I know. Are you performing at all now? I know you got a new single out.
Yeah, no, we haven't been performing at all actually, and we recorded this record over the last 2 years, and we did it in our studios in our houses, and we sent tracks back and forth, and we did it that way, technology wise. And believe it or not, it was actually pretty cool. It's the first time we ever done that. Considering that these are lifelong friends of mine. Everybody in the band, in fact, the guitar player was in my first band called Rippin' Fingers. So watch it. That's in '84. We didn't have those great names in '84. But and he's in the band now, so we just did it that way. We just did a record and sent it to everybody's studio, and yeah, it's been fun. So we haven't played yet. Last tour I played, and I was telling Carmine earlier, was with Jake E. Lee with Red Dragon Cartel.
Red Dragon.
So we did the U.S. and Japan with Jakey, and it was a wild. And I auditioned for the band because I hadn't met Jakey, and it's a big shoes to fill with all these drummers he's played with Carmine, obviously. And the first thing he said is learn how to play Cactus stuff. So
see,
that was a chore.
What did you listen to then?
I listened to the live record. I just listened to everything, and I was just listening, just trying to get an idea of where he was coming from. And then I listened to Carmine. I listened to Bill Ward, and just old stuff, because we played everything live. You know, there was the one thing with Jakey, he was like, you play drums full tracks. We're not cutting anything up. We're not gonna, it's just full one takes. We want takes. And that's what was fun about it. So there's a human element there. But that was the last tour I did, and that was like 2019. And then there was another tour booked, and then COVID hit. So that was it. So I just
Carmine usually edits all his parts and pastes them in.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's what he does.
I heard you played for him. I don't know.
But I learned.
Yeah.
I learned it from Vinny. Vinny told me how to do it.
You're doing your drum syncing to Vinny.
Vinny built my system here that I record with, so he seriously told me how to do it.
We auditioned Jake E. Lee when we first put Dio together.
Yeah.
It was just Ronnie and I, and he played bass, I played drums, and we, had Jake come down one day, and he jammed with us, and that was it. And after that, Ronnie decided, he wanted to get more of an European flavor to the band, So, but
Jake
was
was
cool.
fun to play with because he's very much drummer oriented. That's what I like. So he would sit behind the kit, and although he couldn't play, he could definitely explain what he wanted. And one of the first days he showed me this drum beat. It was a little like odd time stuff, and I made the mistake of learning it fast. So I was like, oh, okay, you want to show off. So then it started into a competition of how much crap you can give me before I couldn't do it. But I learned so much from him. It was fun. It was a good time.
That's
and then,
cool.
That's good.
Just playing and learning.
When I was with Ozzy, me and Jake were the only Americans, so we used to hang out.
Yeah, no, he had nothing but good things to say about you. So it was a really fun time, and I heard from all the drummers, with Randy and Tommy and everybody.
Well, when Ted gets on, I'm going to talk about this new Cactus album because he was a big Cactus fan.
Oh, heck yeah!
Oh, cool.
We knew Cactus, and from the beginning.
Are you still with? I mean, are you still with Jakey and Red Dragon Cartel, or are you with your Organic Boom? Or what?
Yeah, I no, because everything just kind of went its own way. And although Jake had 2 records to do, I don't know really what's going on with any of that stuff because with COVID, everything, like I said, just stopped. Sure. So, but yeah. So right now we just released our first single with Panic Boom, and who knows? We're already talking about having a hologram for us to go out there for me and the bass player because the bass player is from Saigon Kick, so we've been lifelong friends. But it's everything hurt after the last tour with Jake. It was funny because the back of the bus, and I'm sure you guys can understand this, it was about Ben Gay and raps and all that stuff now. But it's hey, pass me that. Can I get an Advil? Can I do that? It was not like the old days. So I was okay, so maybe I'm not invincible, so that's but hopefully
you guys are younger. You guys are younger than us.
Those guys are young.
Yeah, Ben Gay.
You guys are young. I'm Ben Gay.
Fuck. I'm
54. I mean, I'm hurting though. I'm an old 54 just because of all the bad stuff.
54. Jesus.
54.
Oh my God.
That's 21 years younger than me.
Oh my God,
I
that's
hope
crazy.
I look as good as you
So if you want, you brought up Invincible, Phil.
Yeah.
And when you think rock and roll and you think Invincible, there's really only one name. Yeah. Let's bring him on, Ted Nugent.
Or Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent.
Hey, there we go.
I'm invincible, motherfuckers. Happy New Year, you rock and roll motherfuckers. Happy Clusterfuck 22. Did you gentlemen, by the way, Carmen, let's make sure these young whippersnappers respect their elders. Let's start that right now. So, Phil, greetings to you. And Ron, God bless you. And Garamana Pichi. And then Vinny Pichi. Greetings.
He said it right. He said it right. That's right.
Yeah, that's the Italian way. Pichi.
Hey, did you hear that? When he joined Jake, he wanted him to listen to Cactus.
Sure. Well, everybody's got to listen to Cactus. Between Vanilla Fudge and Jimmy McCarty and Rusty Day, that's the Detroit fucking shit kickers from hell.
You know,
and if you can't play Parchment Farm, hang up the fucking phone right now.
So, dude, they just released a new thing. It's called The Birth of Cactus. It was the very first gig we ever did. And it was with Hendrix and Grateful Dead and Steve Miller Band. And I swear to God, when you listen to that thing, it sounds like we're on crystal meth.
Because you were on crystal meth.
Not me.
There's a reason.
Maybe Rusty and McCarty, but not me.
Well, let's talk about that, if I may. Number one, greetings to you. I'm honored to be here and share the celebration of all-American shit kicker music with you guys, because you motherfuckers deserve me. I'm telling you, not a whole lot of people can run with a big dog. But you're talking about old age. I just turned 73, and I got to tell you, Carmine, I'm glad you got rid of that hair dye. You look so handsome in silver, man. I like the silver. But anyhow, happy 22 to everybody, man. I hope everybody's doing good. We're improvising, adapting, and overcoming, making great music. I'm killing a lot of deer, so I'm a happy son of a bitch.
Well, it's really, we talk a little bit about, always on this show, we talk about the classics. We talk about some of the pioneers, and especially, you, Ted, I just, one of the many things we love about you, of course, you always give props to those Bo Diddleys and Chuck Berrys and Little Richards and even Jimmy McCarty. I mean, you always give props to the pioneers that brought us where we're all at today. And even, I got to think, even to this day with your new single, I know you want to talk about that, Come and Take It, which is freaking badass, by the way. But there's even remnants of Bo Diddley in that.
Well, you can't really play. You can't really play. Talk about the musicians that you guys have collaborated with. You cannot escape three powerhouses of the origins of rock and roll. It certainly started with Chuck Berry. The whole rhythm, the whole cadence, the whole verbalization and lyricism of not just his lyrics, but the guitar. But between Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, and Little Richard, we talk about different eras in rock and roll. The punk era, they go, well, we're punks. Fuck you, I had Little Richard. Out-punked Little Richard, motherfuckers. So we were literally in the mountaintop, in the vortex of the creative moment after Les Paul electrified the guitar, and Chuck and Bo showed us what to do with it. Of course, the Ventures and Lonnie Mack and Duane Eddy, they perfected it. But when it came to just middle fingers on fire, to this day, very few artists can compete with the defiance and the energy and the piss and vinegar of those founding fathers. So I can't escape it. I was playing my guitar with a bunch of guys today, and you can't play Cat Scratch Fever or Wang Dang Sweet Poon. You can't play anything of Ted Nugent or Jimmy McCarty or Cactus without going, Chuck, Bo, So I'm so proud of that. I can't talk about music without talking about the guys that gave it to us.
That's right, brother.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing that. Tell us real quick about Come and Take It. I think it's a cool. It's even the video for that. I mean, you've got George Washington crossing the Delaware. I mean, man. It's about as American as it gets.
That was good. Not
that we'd expect it from you, but
number one.
I wanted to play drums on that.
I'll tell you, in your own way, Carmine, you did, because Jason Hart was from Detroit, started playing when he was 5 or 6 years old, and he's been playing drums all his life, so he can't escape your influence and the Gods of Thunder. But Come and Take It is a love song to the government, and I sent a copy to Beto O'Rourke and Joe Biden, and I gave him my address and my schedule, and I said, when you want to come and take guns, start with me, assholes.
Dude.
It's a love song.
I listened to that song. Hey, Ted, I listened to that song, and it fucking kicks ass.
Yeah,
thanks,
great
man.
song.
Yeah,
and I love the guitar solo changes, too. That just kicks it up.
Well, the thing about what Jimmy, this is the guitar that Jimmy turned me on to, the Gibson Birdland, but it's not just, All that chicka.
Yeah, right.
It's like I'm snare, hi-hat, maracas, tambourines, chains in a bucket. But I learned that from the gods of Detroit, offspring of the Motown Funk Brothers, and what Johnny Bonanza created at 15 years old. I was there. My band, the Lourdes, opened up for Billy Lee and the Rivieras, who ended up being Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. And there was a new band in Detroit called Martha and the Vandellas that went on before Billy Lee and the Rivieras. But what Johnny Bonanza created, and Carmine and Vinny, and every drummer knows this, at 15 years old, his whole the whole and that's where the right hand never stops. If I jacked off, I'd pull my dick off.
For you kids out there, what he means is...
that's exactly what I mean.
That's exactly what he means.
If you're not having fun with me, you are really weird.
I was just going to say, man, it's always such a great time to put on the show.
Let's talk, Carmine, if I may. And Ron, you'll love this because I first opened up, the Amboy Dukes opened up at the Toledo Sports Arena in the winter of '67. The Vanilla Fudge had their big hit single, the Motown, the Supreme song, and they were just revered as the tightest grooving throttle rhythm and blues rock and roll. But the Amboy Dukes opened up for Vanilla Fudge at the Toledo Sports Arena, '67. And then the last time we played with Vanilla Fudge is when Hendrix kicked me off their tour at the Atlantic Civic Auditorium.
Yeah, I remember that.
When it was Soft Machine, Vanilla Fudge, Amboy Dukes, and Jimi Hendrix. But I think it's important to note that Carmine and I, when I hang with musicians, all these incredible musicians that I've been blessed with all my life, what a lucky fuck I am. But it never leaves me. I honed in.
Do you remember what happened before you went on stage?
Yeah, I burnt the curtains down.
You talked and you said you were going to play with your teeth.
Yeah.
And I said, but Jimmy does that. He says, yeah, but if I did it first, people think I did it first.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I had been doing that. I had been with the Birdland. I've always made feedback and I've always made noises way before there was a Hendrix. When you play a Birdland, it makes so much noise and you got to position yourself in front of all those Fender amps so it makes the right noise. And so it's not like I was going to back off what we did, but we kicked so much ass that night because I ran out into the audience and did the Baby Please Don't Go solo for like 10 minutes right in people's laps. So I was already hyper back then, and I'm not going to back it down because somebody else might do it.
It's really interesting. Yesterday, unfortunately, we lost another pioneer in Ronnie Spector, which is very good. I've had her numerous times at my places, and just a wonderful lady.
Who did we lose?
Ronnie Spector.
Oh shit!
Be my baby.
Be my little baby. Be my baby.
She didn't really sound like that.
I finally met her again, Ron. Real quick, I finally met her again when I played with the Rascals, 2018. She was opening up for us, and I told her I got my vibrato from her.
Yeah.
Be my little baby.
Absolutely. Mark Stein as well. So did Tim. So did Tim.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I'm saying is you look at the Ronnie Spector, you look at Ted, you mentioned the Supremes, Carmine, Set Me Free, Supremes, obvious, okay, with the Fudge. Little known fact about Uncle Ted, what is your experience with the Supremes when you're, 14, 15 years old, Ted?
Yeah, I mean, again, talking about, I think God loves me more than he loves you guys because I've just been so lucky at every juncture with the caliber of musicians going back to the late 1950s with Tom Noel on drums and then Dave Palmer from Detroit and all the guys in the Lourdes and the Amboy Dukes. But I've been surrounded by the greatest of the great, so it ends up morphing into your spirit and you play the way those better musicians teach you to collaborate musically. So the Lourdes, I was 13, and the Lourdes won the Michigan Battle of the Bands in 1963, and there was a brand new facility called Cobo Hall, and the prize for winning was to open up for the Supremes and the Beau Brummels. But more important than the Supremes is that the Motown orchestra, and the Funk Brothers were right next to me.
Wow.
So you just absorb that when you hang with people like that, because everybody here, everybody watching us knows, and if they don't know, I want to let them know that the Funk Brothers are the holy grail for tightness and groove and spirit and musicality. And I got to hang with these guys, so I just thank God every day.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the guy that plays.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carmen.
The guy that plays guitar in Cactus, Paul Warren.
Sure, I know Paul. Paul's a friend.
Right, Paul played on "Papa's Like a Rolling Stone." He
yes.
played on it, you know, I mean, how cool is that? And when we went out, we started telling the audience that he played on "Papa's Like a Rolling Stone," and we started playing it.
Sure.
And it's on the new album, but he just such a great job. He sang it too. Boy, he's a soul brother when he sings too.
Absolutely. Well, Detroit has a palpable spirit, and as friction the relationship was with Rusty Day, which is what eventually killed him. Yeah. The guy, he just reeked of a soulfulness and a vocal characterization. And then with his Lord Master Jimmy McCarty on Les Paul, Carmine and Tim and the whole Cactus movement was a combination of literally the supreme musicality, because Detroit had it, Long Island had it, and the influences. The reason you did a Supreme song is because you could feel that spirit, and anything Motown. The first Stones and Beatles album had Motown songs, Chuck Berry songs, and Bo Diddley songs.
Yeah.
That's right.
There you go.
Phil, what do you think some of your influences were? I mean, you see these guys, where their influences were. I got to think some of them had to bleed down up to your generation.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the 80s. That was the era that I was in. But 70s, I loved. Beatles was my main thing. My mother introduced me to Elvis, my dad, the Beatles. And that's what was my upbringing. And my parents had the Columbia Records thing where you get 400 CDs for like a penny. And
That's why we went broke.
Yeah, exactly. So I listened to everything. It was a very musical house. I got like Kiss double platinum for my 6th grade graduation, and I had an 8-track player that looked like the dynamite detonator. You know, that 8-track player, and you got to figure it out. But yeah, I listened to everything. Everybody on the screen is my childhood. You know, it was really great. And
well, Phil, what you're talking about, Phil, what you're articulating here is especially with Kiss. That was Chuck Berry. Everything, all the 70s, we just passed the baton of those founding fathers. That's why it struck everybody, because of the rhythm and the cadence and just the infectiousness of that attitude that music represented. So thank you for carrying it on.
Yeah, and you know, I hope to this day that younger generations understand where the music came from. I think that's what's missing a little bit today, because with technology, people forget that humans used to play this stuff. We used to go in the studio and actually have tape machines, and machines didn't do it for us. We actually had to be good, or they found someone to be good. And
unfortunately, unfortunately, your hopes, I'm afraid, are fading. Because we're not seeing much of it. That's why none of this new music has guitar solos. The crescendo of a virtuoso, fire-breathing guitar solo, you don't hear them because it takes too much effort. It's too much hard work. And that breaks my heart. There's still a bunch out there, still killer players out there. But when you listen, stop and think, guys. In 1968, Journey to the Center of the Mind made it to #1. You Keep Me Hanging On was a #1. But you know what was on AM hit radio? Born to Be Wild, Sunshine of Your Love, Purple Fucking Haze, Journey to the Center of the Mind, these killer, real musical virtuoso delivery of music by the gods of thunder. We could name Hush by Deep Purple. We're talking about the gods of real rock and roll. And nowadays, if it wasn't for FM radio or the Boneyard, you'd never hear this shit.
You know what? What's been encouraging, at least for me, on my side of the world. You guys are on the recording side, of course. I'm on the performance side with my theaters and everything. And what's been really encouraging is all the kids that are coming to these Zeppelin shows and Pink Floyd shows, and the 12-year-olds, the dads bringing the daughters and the sons, and School of Rock, all their music. There's not a whole lot of Justin Bieber solos at School of Rock. It's all about the classics. So that's at least a little positive that we got in our society.
And that's because of the caliber of musicianship, because everybody on here right now and all our favorite music comes from guys with a work ethic. Maybe more powerful than the Detroit work ethic when it was the arsenal of democracy, turning, instead of making cars and trucks, they made tanks and howitzers. But the work ethic that goes into our music, I know that Vinny, Carmine, Phil, everybody you have at your facilities, Ron, we work our ass off so that it's tight and it's passionate and it's emotional and it's authoritative. And nowadays you got this pop music. I mean, the country music nowadays is something you hear at a Ferris wheel at a state fair.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? You really touch on something there, Ted, because you're right. You know, I'm just in the background watching you guys, and it's amazing. You know, if I was to say if I was asked a question, what is one thing that really intrigues you about all these musicians, especially from these eras, is the fact that, you know, you've been doing these songs 30, 40, 50, some 60 years. And still, the passion, the butterflies in your stomach before you go on.
Absolutely.
The amount of – I had Kenny G here, I don't know, last week, 2 weeks ago. This guy, every time he comes here, 3 hours in his dressing room just playing the sax, warming up. These musicians are so, you guys are so, people don't realize. They think it's like, many of them probably think it's just it's a machine. You guys go out, do it. You guys are into it way more than I think anybody really and truly realizes.
Oh, you can tell Phil and everybody here is a fan of them. We're fans before we're musicians.
You know,
we want to express what we love.
It's not about money today because, I mean, Ted, you know this, Vinny, we know that all the time we put into recording now.
Yeah.
With the money you get as an advance, whatever, it's like making 3 cents an hour.
It's just insane,
right? You make nothing, but just you know, just to do it.
Has it ever been about money? I don't think it's ever been about money. I know for me, I've been broke my whole life, so it's like I just love playing music. Yeah, I've always loved playing music, and that's all it was. It was that time on stage, you know. Uncle Ted, when we opened up, I was in Skid Row when we toured with Kiss, if you remember.
Sure.
And every night it was like that. We played 30 minutes. We had 1,800 seconds of pure rock and roll. That's what Skid Row did. And we went out there, and that's what we lived for. That whole tour, that Kiss tour was long, if you remember. It was 130 shows or whatever. And I had a blast watching. And one thing that I have to say about the shows, Kiss, even in Ted, you had Tommy Aldridge was playing drums at the time, hitting hard. This man hit so hard, and your band was shredding every night.
Well, it was Marco Mendoza on bass, right?
Yeah,
I think.
Well,
it
was either Barry Sparks at that time, Barry Sparks, or maybe Michael.
Yeah, it was Marco. I think it was
Marco Mendoza.
Virtuoso.
Stop and think. A guitar player's dream. Marco Mendoza and Tommy Aldridge playing my songs. But and I know I'm speaking for you guys, and I know I have a big mouth. I always do. But I know I represent every musician I've ever met, and I've been around a long time, and I've met gazillions of them. Every gig is the most important gig. Right. Every night every night is the most important concert of our life. Doesn't matter how many people, doesn't matter how big the facility, doesn't matter what you're getting paid. All that is gone in the wind. You can't wait to unleash this music that you have cultivated and you believe in. So it goes way beyond compensation. The compensation factor is when you have a Phil Basile and people who are going to bat for you to make sure that if $20,000 comes through the door, 19 of it is mine.
Well, that's the mark of a true professional. That
and Marco has a great voice too.
Monster guys. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey Phil, real quick here. I was flipping pages in Unfiltered, your book here, and really interesting, man. You're such a multi-faceted individual. I don't know how people realize just that so many things that you've done, so many projects you've been a part of. But give me if you were to give me like the greatest hit of Unfiltered of your book, what would be like?
It was basically I called it a 4-shitter. You can read it in 4 shits. It was very easy to read. It was it's funny stories.
That would be one of my shits. I could do it in one shit because I really have some good. I eat a lot of Mexican food, so I'm there for a lot of
You go for the legs and numb, all that stuff. No, and I at the time I was doing stand-up comedy at the time, so I wrote it very stand-up. So it was just dumb stuff from
You
not
did
shitting on the
stand-up
bus.
comedy too?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I failed at everything. That's
Every
what I
one of my
wanted to do.
concerts is a stand-up comedy.
I know, that's right. 2 hours of comedy.
Well,
Well, let's talk about that, Phil. I mean, talk about the
Yeah.
book, but your comedy sex stand-up rock and roll thing that you
Yeah.
did. I mean, I want to talk about that too. So tell me about it.
Well, Craig Gass, who's a buddy of the rock and roll of all the bands, he told me that I should do stand-up. So I went out to LA and moved there. Went to the Improv and pitched them this show called the Sex Stand-Up and Rock and Roll Show, which was a variety show. I love variety shows. I love the Gong Show. I loved, Mike Douglas shows. Like when, like people out there and giving people new stuff, like different. So I had a variety show, and at the end of it, I had my rock star friends come up and we would jam. So we're playing in the Improv,
Wow.
and it was so out of control that it was just packed to the roof. I did it bi-weekly, and what it turned out to be is a breeding ground for the comics to try stuff before they went to the Tonight Show or whatever. And in my class of comics are huge stars today, like Nick Swartzen and Chris D'Elia and Whitney Cummings and all these stars today. We all started together. And I did it mostly for hosting. I'm a drummer. And I have an ego, so I wanted to go to the front of the stage finally. So that's what I did. I had to go up there and get some humility, but it was worth it. It was a lot of fun, and it helped in everything that I do. I always say, go if you want to see some humility and be scared for a second, go do some comedy for 5 minutes at a mic. It's pretty interesting. You get it handed back to
2 hours of
you.
rock and roll is easy, but 5 minutes of comedy, that's tough.
Comedy is one of the hardest things I've ever done, but most gratifying. Yeah.
I keep telling Vinny to do it.
Yeah.
Vinny, you would be a great the drum monster.
But you know what's funny about comedy?
I can imagine it's hard.
Yeah, and I wasn't that funny, but they give you a couple of minutes. But
that was funny. You're not that funny. That was funny.
A lot of the comics said I should bring my own snare drum up and cut myself. But it was just but they'll give you a couple of minutes, but they don't give a shit after that. They don't care about your credits. They don't get, at that point, it's like, yeah, you're not a rock star anymore. They start heckling you. Yeah. I mean, it gets brutal. But it was something that I wanted to do, and Craig Gass talked me into it, and I did it. And it was a lot of fun, though. It was definitely a cool experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted, I don't know how you keep it. I mean, I'm looking through your stuff and Spirit of the Wild TV and your letters that you do and the radio, not to mention 40, 50 interviews a day, live. You're doing recording, you're doing touring. I know you're coming by me in June, hopefully.
I pray to God. I pray to God. We're so horny to play my songs.
Oh, I know. What is how involved are you in this whole Ted Nugent wheel that turns with all these other things happening? Obviously, you've got a great support cast, but how involved are you in that stuff?
Well, I'm alive. I've been around for 73 plus years, and I've seen some ugly shit in the world, and I've seen people make terrible mistakes. I've said goodbye to a lot of people that I shouldn't have had to because of indulgences and mistakes that they made. I did everything but time to a pole and beat the shit out of them to get them to quit abusing themselves like they did. So I've celebrated so much good. I mean, the love around me, my family, the incredible musicians. They're not just musical cohorts. They're lifelong blood brothers that take on a challenge and an adventure together. So I've had a really powerful spiritual, emotional adventure in my years because I was so obsessed with making music, and then I was equally obsessed with getting to be a good archer, and I was equally obsessed with trying to get close to animals so I could kill them and eat them. And the fascination, the fascination with wildlife, the healing powers of nature. That when you're gonzo like I am on stage for 2-3 hours a night, 300 plus concerts a year with the Amboy Dukes, and well into the solo career. You need to shut the fuck up and decompress. And I was always able to go back to my archery, and I saw that it literally saved my life. It steered me in a sensible direction to be in touch with nature, to be an asset to nature, to perform a stewardship responsibility with nature, and then I get on stage and sing Wango Tango. It's a balancing act, and it works so good that people would hear my interviews, because I do so many, because I'm a different cat, and when you're different, people are interested in that, what makes you different. And I would be communicated on the streets, at the grocery store, at the gas station, at the feed mill, on tour, backstage, traveling. And people were fascinated by my outdoor life. So I decided to promote it as visible and powerfully as I could. So we started Ted Nugent Spirit of the Wild TV 33 years ago. We've done over 500 episodes. And I'm on the board of all kinds of conservation organizations and wildlife charity organizations. And it's just a fulfillment of my passions and my dreams, the things that turn me on. I mean, I literally raced to do this with you guys. I was in a deer blind just before I came here, and I saw this magnificent old mature stag that I've only seen twice before, and he's 6 years old at least, because they're so elusive and you never know where they're going to be. And when I'm watching that deer, and I got the camera going to film it for the TV show, and it's so challenging because they can hear you breathe. And he went by and he never gave me a shot, but there were other deer around. And during that moment, there's no Joe Biden. There's no FBI turned into a gangster organization. There's no mandates like Nazis trying to control a population.
Right.
There's no deceit. There's no ugliness. There's no organized crime wave by engineered recidivism. There's no ugly. That deer owned. And you can see I'm very upbeat because I was able to purge all negativity and just wallow in the things that turn me on. And my energy level comes from that. And being clean and sober helps a lot. I've just never put any bullshit in my body. And I eat smart. I always have. And I'm surrounded by a loving family and loving friends, and my band and I, it's like a spiritual orgy out there in my everyday activities. And being on with you guys and being allowed to share it with you, I appreciate you letting me talk about it, because a lot of people don't find those passions. They're not sure. Maybe peer pressure. Maybe they bought the lie of peer pressure. Maybe they think they have to do stuff to be hip, or whatever all that nonsense is. But if you go to my Facebook and see the genuine, heartfelt communications I get. I went to the feed mill this morning. These old farmers, they just love me. Hey, thanks for standing up for my Second Amendment, Uncle Ted. God bless you, man. Did you kill a deer? It's such an old school, down to earth relationship with the best people in the world that I benefit from that. And I think, Ron, when we talk backstage, and Carmine and Vinny, we've never spent much time, and Phil, we've never spent much time, but you can tell that I'm just a positive energy guy. I'm not afraid to tackle the stupidity and the ugliness. In fact, that's why I'm high energy, because I feel like I'm doing something to mitigate the bad and the ugly and optimize the good. And all the things I love, it turns me on. I'm just a lucky motherfucker.
As we all are. I want to do real quick here is...
I need to say one quick thing. I spent a 4th of July at Ted's house.
Oh my gosh.
And that was an experience.
And live to talk about it. That's amazing.
He had all these different guns and said, pick one, just shoot into that hill over there. Remember that?
Yeah, we don't believe in fireworks. We believe in firepower.
That's right. It was unbelievable. I told that story so many times. And the one time Ted, I was staying at the house when we were working together. He said, I'm going to go out hunting. I said, maybe I'll go with you. And Ted said, well, let me explain what I'm going to do. He said, I'm going to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go out, put on my clothes. I'm going to go out. I'm going to get under a bunch of wet leaves. I'm just going to wait there for them to come by and everything. You still want to come? I said, I think I'll stay home and have breakfast.
It's serious stuff. It's really serious stuff. Yeah. And I love it now more than ever because I hunt with the bow and arrow, which is almost impossible because you got to be so tuned in. You got to get so close, and God made these animals not to let guitar players with sharp sticks close by. So it's a challenge, and it really I use the term a lot. It cleanses the soul. And then when I pick up the guitar, fucking flames come out because I've been so relaxed and quiet. It's time to get intense and loud.
Sure. You know, real quick here, we also lost another. I don't like to make this a whole show about dead people, but we did lose another guy this week, Michael Lang, who was the originator of Woodstock. Now,
Yeah.
Ted, you came out right around 67, Carmine 64, 65. You guys are around there at that time. What's your take on Woodstock? Good thing, bad thing?
Well, we were booked on Woodstock, Vanilla Fudge, but we didn't take your booking because we did a bunch. You remember, Ted, in those days you had so many different festivals before Woodstock. Who knew it was going to be like that?
Yeah.
You know, and it was always such a hassle to get in and out of the festival.
Well, what Carmine's talking about, the Amboy Dukes were making like $3-4 a night back then, and we got paid in advance because there's so many fucking scam artists and hippies out there. And Carmine and I had the same management for a while, at least close friends with Red Ruffino and
Chubby would come with a 22 in his sock and say, "Give us the money."
I came out 45, but we were offered our full fee. But I was so suspicious of all these outdoor festivals. They were such scam artists, and they were all stoned out of their minds. They didn't respect the musicians. Look, they put Jimi Hendrix on at 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. Jimi fucking Hendrix, as it's coming to an end, you couldn't keep a schedule for Jimi Hendrix. That shows the ineptitude and the disrespect. I love my music, and I owe that audience the ultimate show. And so I have to have a booking agent and a stage manager and somebody that pays, because none of those artists got paid. They all got ripped off. So I would turn down those if they didn't pay us in advance. Even to this day, if you don't pay in advance, you can suck my dick, because you know I'm going to deliver. I've never missed a gig in my life. I've never been late. I've never done anything but 100% fire-breathing performance, so I think I deserve to be paid in advance. And that's the way this works, because my band and my crew and my bus driver and my truck driver and everybody, they need to get paid. And if I don't get paid, I'm not eating it. Which is why I love to work with you, Ron, because you're a professional. You should have controlled Woodstock.
Yeah.
Wow, I want to
we didn't do it because of all these other reasons of trying to fly in and get out and get in the traffic. And we had done Seattle Pop Festival. We did like 3 or 4 festivals that month. And they came up with it. We just said, "Oh, fuck it, man."
Yeah. Kickapoo Creek, and
then it became the biggest festival ever.
Yeah. And they were all fun when it went off reasonably well. What a riot! What a riot! Those people were so into the music, and like you said too, Ron and Vinny, and what you guys were talking about before I came on. Isn't it wonderful that real music lovers are still completely into the music? They listen, they watch, they can tell when you do a clever arrangement, they can tell when you start tight and you end tight, they can tell when the guitar crescendo's coming, they can tell when that drum break comes up, how fucking rhythmical. Those are the music lovers that we all love, and they're still out there, thank God.
Yeah, they are.
Thank God for that. Phil, we touched on your song Revolution earlier. Yeah. I'd like to play just a little bit of it because I think it's really badass. I love the tune. It really is. So let's, but take us into it. Tell me a little bit about the song itself.
The song, believe it or not, was written in '94, and
no kidding.
And it just shows you that it's just over time it's kind of the same. Like we deal with this stuff year after year, and it was, and it just so happens that the way the U.S. is now, it was like a perfect song, and we just re-recorded it again. But it was written 25 years ago, and one of the first songs we ever wrote. So when we re-recorded it, I thought we had something, it was pretty cool. It has good energy, and lyrically, it stays. It's the same as it was 25 years ago. So it's definitely relevant. And we wrote it to make it's for people to take their own, get something out of it. We're not saying much. I mean, we're saying things, but we're not, it's for everybody's interpretation. I think that's what it's about, because everybody has their views and everybody has their opinions, and it's an open to discuss. That's what we feel about it.
It's something how history is repeating itself. And it's becoming more, as relevant as it was 25 years ago. It's amazing. Ben, why don't we play just a minute or so? Let's check out Revolution. You recorded it once already, right, Phil?
Back in '94.
Very cool.
Got to grind, man. Nice grind.
Vinny, I want you to critique this song from a drummer standpoint.
Well, it sounds like a really nice love song, one you would like to dance with your missus, get in the middle of the room and stuff. And then watch out for that chorus.
Watch out for that chorus.
But how would you describe his drumming on this? Because I love the way it was just banging.
Yeah, it's great. Some nice drumming on it. What's cool is you could hear the drums; they're not buried. You could hear the bass drum. A lot of recordings these days, the bass drum is non-existent. And you could hear everything. You hear the rhythm between the snare and the bass drum. So some great playing on it. Not too many fills.
That's true.
Not too many fills like Carmine would play. So
that's right.
Thank you.
That was good, though. I like
good
it.
stuff.
That's good
I
stuff
did a
from the
song
legends.
25 years ago with my Guitars project called Code 19.
Whoa.
It was all about the same stuff that we went through here, and unbelievable. So we did it's on YouTube. We did a video, Code 19, Guitars. We got Zach Wilde playing guitar on it, and it's in 7/8 and 4/4 and all these crazy times, but it's really the lyrics are so now.
Yeah.
Everything we went through all last year with everybody. People.
Yeah,
some people committed suicide that had this stupid virus.
We did. I directed the video and edited the video. So the video is it's a kind of a lyric video on steroids. But what I did with it is made it news. So there's a news ticker the whole time with our lyrics, and it's showing the events for the last 2 years. And
that's kind of what we did.
And then you make your you make your own assessment on what you believe or what you want to do, and we stay neutral. I always tell people I'm an American. That's what I am. I want what's right for America.
There's so many movies on the old science fiction channels, like on Roku and stuff, about all these pandemics and virus comes down from Mars and turns people into zombies. I mean, there's
that happens, doesn't it?
Of these movies. Yeah, it's almost what's happening now. It's like,
well, Carmine, what about the song you played on my Nugent album, Bound and Gagged?
Yeah, man.
Is that timely? That's right now.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Ted, I
love playing that song live. We had we're playing on the American flag, a giant American flag in the background with a pier.
Now we have little American flags in suppository form, and I go out with a cue stick and I shove it up people's ass.
So, moving right along, April 29th. I got a visual. I love that visual. Oh my God.
Do you feel the love? Do you feel the love?
Yeah, but not the way you're suggesting it. That's probably
you can get them on Amazon too.
Hey Ted, how's your Bronco? By the way, I saw that episode.
Phil, that
thing is amazing.
That's the most important question of all. I got a Ford Bronco that gets exactly 650 yards to the gallon. I'm taking Al Gore for a ride. I've got a '66 original Bronco that's completely frame off restored. I love my Broncos. I got a 74 that the Texas Metal TV show just rebuilt. Holy shit! 750 fucking horsepower.
Oh, baby!
I have a '69 that's just a stock no, it's cut, but it's only got about a 4-inch lift and 35s. But I've also got a Roush Yates 800 horsepower that Bill Straup, the originator of the Bronco that won all the Baja 1000 with Parnelli drones, it's been completely rebuilt, and it's absolutely. It'll literally climb up your face. It's got
how big are the wheels, Ted? How big are the wheels?
I got 46s on the 1990 Bronco, but the rest of them have 38s and 37s, so they're not crazy high, but they're performance. I don't know if you saw the Sammy Hagar show I did where I took him for a ride in my 74 Bronco. It scared the living shit out of him. I didn't even do it. I didn't even do anything. I was like, go to the store for milk and bread, but it was downhill.
So 46-inch tires is as big as I am.
Around.
I mean, really, it's literally as big as I am.
But I love my trucks. Plus, I got these new Dodge Challenger Hellcat Red Eyes with 840 horses. Holy fuck, do I love those.
You know, yesterday I went to Naples, right? And we were driving back on Alligator Alley.
I know.
And we were doing 80, you know, in a what is it, an SUV. All of a sudden, boom, this thing comes by. It was a Challenger, you know, or one of them Dodge ones.
These are the good old days of horsepower.
So fast that it made a wind tunnel that hit our car, went like this. And following him was a cop blaring.
No
we
shit.
were doing 80. He must have been doing 150, this guy.
Wow.
I mean, and that's it. And that cop, he couldn't catch him. Later on, we saw the cop.
Well, I've had my Hellcat at 172, and I'll never go that fast again. It's so scary because shit's going by you so fast.
I had my Pantera at 140.
Yeah, that's
in
scary.
Long Island and Jones.
You were on meth.
And it started taking off.
Yeah,
it started taking off.
But I missed out on the muscle car eras in the '60s and up until the oil crisis in '73. So I missed all the 450 horsepower. 400. That was the holy grail. Those muscle cars of the muscle car era couldn't touch what you can buy off the showroom floor today with the Hellcats, the Red Eye, the new Vets, the new Mustang.
Yeah.
It's what a great time to be a horsepower nut,
Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, Ted, real quick here. April 29th, it looks like Detroit Muscle's coming out, your new album. And obviously the big single, Come and Take It, and the video, you guys got to check that out. I did want to ask you, one of your tracks, your last track, I believe, does it say Star Spangled Banner? Do you actually do it? Is it your version or is it a Jimi Hendrix style?
I do the national anthem at all kinds of different sporting events and charity events, and the 246th birthday of the U.S. Marines and the Navy SEALs come back from a fight, and I play the national anthem in an environment that is the definitive patriotic middle finger, defiant, we the people environment. So I captured it in the barn in Michigan with Jason and Greg, and we put it on the record. But you guys, especially you drum dogs, I played this for Carmine, but this is the lick. I don't know what this sounds like. Does it sound like a guitar? Can you hear it clearly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
because listen to this. I'm drum oriented. Jimmy McCarty was a drummer. Eddie Van Halen was a drummer.
Yeah.
So all the best, I was never a drummer. I dicked around with it, but I've always had the greatest drummers other than Phil and Vinny. I've had the greatest drummers that have ever walked the planet. So when I make a guitar lick, it's drum oriented. And this is the title track, Detroit Muscle. This is the guitar lick for it.
Well, that'd be fun to play too.
Wouldn't that be a drummer's dream? Because of all the.
That'd be a lot of fun to play too.
That's a stranglehold lick right there.
We'll be over in an hour.
Yeah. Well, and here's right now. Come and Take It is the single that's out now. I guess it's getting played everywhere, which is what a relief
Great.
that is. But the next song is called American Campfire. And it's just just a classic guitar lick. Everybody loves the American campfire. Don't you hear it calling your name? Everybody loves the American campfire. Don't you hear it calling your name? Everybody loves the American campfire. Go ahead and fan the flame. But everything's got that cucka shit going on. I fucking love it.
That's killer.
Well, that's what you
16
base
notes.
that
It's called 16 notes.
16 notes.
Lots of 16th and 30 seconds going on with Uncle Ted's right hand.
Here we go. I'm going to get back to that visual we had earlier.
Yes.
Anyway, you guys, listen, thank you so much for being on our show. It's really amazing. It was a great show. I love these topics that we bring up because it's not the same old stuff all the time. How'd you get started? What's your favorite song? This is all really quality stuff. And thanks for being a part of it, guys. Phil Varone.
Well, that's why this is Hanging and Banging, because it's not an interview. It's a
Hanging and Banging. 74th. Hanging and Banging. Proud to be a part of it. Phil, good seeing you on this video. Vinny, good seeing you guys. Carmine,
Thanks for having me.
Ron, a big salute. You guys are stone cold all-American shit kickers, and I love you madly.
Yeah.
Same here,
Back
man.
to you,
Same
brother.
here. Thank you very much, everybody. Don't forget, we are here. Oh, by the way, Carmine, we finalized, it looks like June 18th at the Arcada Theater, the Pat Travers Band, but with Cactus. I am so excited.
Wow.
I am so excited.
I want to be there for that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, we
Pat's
will
a
let you
motherfucker.
in, Uncle Ted.
Yeah,
We
Pat's
will all be there.
And we got Paul Warren playing guitar.
He's a monster.
We the people. We the people.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here. Once again on Hangin' and Bangin'. We're here every Thursday night. Same bad time, same bad channel. 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock on the East Coast, and 4 o'clock on the West Coast. Everybody stay safe. We're going to be rocking and rolling really, really soon. I want to thank everybody on our team, from Steve Love to Gwen, to everybody that puts this on together with us. Thanks again. What is that? Look at Ted. Thanks again to Carmine and Vinny, and to all of you. So until next week, stay cool, stay safe, and we'll see you next week right here, Hangin' and Bangin'.